Having an uneventful Saturday. I hope you're having an uneventful Saturday. Uh, I was thinking that I started this pod to get away from politics, and now all I do is talk politics. Can't say that I'm happy with it. Uh, what I essentially do is I express my discontent online, um, and I try and explain away why I'm unhappy and how I see others in the community as being unhappy. Uh, but at the end of the day, what does that get me? Right? I want a game. I don't want to talk politics anymore. It's draining. Mom tries to shield right wing son's phone records from January 6th committee. The title is just so funny to me. Your mom is gonna stop a congressional hearing. Hey William, good to see you. Thank you for the love, man. I appreciate it. Um, Mom tried to share right wing son's phone records. How? I mean, his phone records is with his phone carrier. What was? Yeah, yeah. Some of this Ukrainian footage is crazy. So there was like a 5 minute footage of people trying to leave the Ukraine, reporters, and they got shot at. And then people were like, they got shot at again. They're like, yeah, whoa, 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 we're pressed, we're pressed, we're pressed. There was like a 40-second like lull, and then they got shot at again. Then it was a 20-second lull, and then they just started getting shot at a lot. And they managed to escape down an embankment and across to this kind of down this embankment into this trench, I guess, and into this warehouse and called for like a rescue, and the cops came and got them a couple of hours later. But they could have easily been followed down there and executed. The Ukraine is falling into what Iraq fell into, right? Uh, you have Russians there who snuck in, aren't wearing uniforms, are now death squads. So I saw one with a tank turret pointed and shot at a guy in a high rise. But these were guns. These were like gunshots. Um, yeah, they're just shooting in the cars out driving down the street. It's just, you know, it'll breed paranoia. Excuse me. And what he's asking Zelensky, Vladimir Zelensky, another Vladimir, is that we we institute a no-fly zone, which means if they violate it, we shoot them down, which means World War III. No one's going to World War III for the Ukraine. This thing looks like it's over already. My next question is, what are you going to do, you know, with the Russians? The Chinese are really looking at Taiwan like, let's see how this plays out. Oh, but after everybody gets outraged, you can only be outraged so long before your outrage normalizes and you're back to. But then he'll still be holding it, and you're no longer outraged. You're just. So what would you do? What is the will of America to do about any of this stuff? Super easy to sell arms and slide into countries in the Middle East, but all of a sudden, like no fly zones over not Saudi Arabia, over what's the guy? Not Saudi Arabia, they're our ally. What's the other guy? Had a civil war, Syria. No fly zone of Syria is fine, right? At least Bill Clinton instituted a no fly zone over Bosnia, but that was no one else was in Bosnia but Bosnians, right? So he was shooting down the Bosnian army that was trying to kill Serbs in Bosnia. They weren't Russian jets flying overhead that they had to contend with. So this I'm just yeah, I don't see anybody stopping it. Uh at moments it looks to me to be a circus, and at other times because a guy stole their rocket launcher with his tractor rather. He hooked it to his tractor and stole it, his tractor. Ridiculous. And he's just speeding down the road and someone's running after them. Right? I'm just kind of like, are you serious? Don't people get shot anymore for this goofiness? Right? And now I think they've turned the heat up. But that whole thing where they almost killed those, they had press on their jackets. I don't even know what to tell you. The thing that you don't shoot press is kind of like a courtesy. Excuse me. Some people don't care. Sadly, some people don't care. Look what they did to Khashoggi, right? Killed him, cut him up into chunks, never found him. Yeah, yeah, I think they were the British press. Sky News, right? Almost died there. So, the Ukraine wants you to see it, the Russians don't, right? So it's likely was not the Ukrainians, it was likely the Russians, right? Oh, did we not cut on the timer? Really? Is the battery dead? Why was this off? When does Geraldo get here? Oh wow, I've got wow, yeah. Uh, hold on. This thing does not hold a freaking charge. That is outrageous. 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 Low power mode. Am I even gonna? You know what? We're not even gonna. We're just gonna let this one go. Got low for you. We're just gonna let that one ride. All right. Sorry, I haven't turned my back on you, but the charge was back there. When does Geraldo get there? Yeah, nobody's going. I mean, the days of going to conflict zones to get famous, nobody wants to do that anymore because people actually will kill you now, right? They don't so much use you as uh, a to get their story out because they have their own media outlets. So now they just take shots at you. Uh, so Russia invades Ukraine. Live updates. Russia Ukraine war. What happened today? I mean, it's goofy. Western sanctions akin to a declaration of war. Who the fuck are you threatening? Right? He's threatening global nuclear meltdown if he doesn't get his way. And that's the thing about nuclear weapons, right? I hate to say it, but India, I mean, them and Pakistan both have nuclear weapons. I mean, you can't talk to them, and this is what happens, right? If you can't build the technology yourself, you shouldn't have it. So we'll see. Somebody's going to slip with their weapons, whether it's maintenance. I don't know if it'll be fired at anybody. but just too many people. It's just a sinister thing to think about too. It's such a sinister thing. His hero is Peter the Great. Let's look up Peter the Great. Tsarist Russia. At one point, all the heads of Europe were related, right? The King of England, the King of Norway, the Tsar of Russia, the uh what's the Germany? What do they call it? The Kremlin, the Kaiser, and the Kremlin, right? They were all at one. They once there's a famous picture. Maybe I can find it where they all gathered together and they all they all looked alike. And then like revolutions came and people just got overthrown, right? Overthrown the monarchy in France, overthrew the monarchy in Russia, overthrew the monarchy in well later in Germany, but all of that was falling. I mean, the last three are in England, like well, let's say last five are in England and like Norway and Spain, right? Um, but it was like that Soviet stuff. Eventually, that began to fall, and now the last bastions of it are China and Russia, and they're trying to run communism on a capitalist platform, and they've got all sorts of problems because with capitalism comes freedom of expression, right? Ooh, I have an idea. I will make this thing and make a lot of money doing it. Wow, hey, that's a new way of doing something. That's a freedom of expression. But if you try to do that in a place where everybody looks at everything you do, right, you're less likely to do anything because you don't want to run afoul of government. So you sort of stifle your own creativity because that person who's creating stuff might, you know, make something that the czar or the king or the, you know, a thousand titles for king, right? The Caesar, find offensive, and then you'll end up in the gulag, like that English, not English, like that Chinese artist who the Chinese kept throwing in jail, and the world kept saying, "Let that dude out of jail," and then they let him out of jail, and they throw him, and then he finally left the country, right? Uh, all right, Peter the Great. Let's look up Peter the Great. Peter the Great. 1672, 1725. Really? That was 300 years ago, man. Lord. He needs to get with the program. Peter the Great. He was their version of, I guess, George Washington, who is our version of Ataturk in Turkey, who founded a government and then a flag in the country and all that. Who did that? All those kind of people? Because all countries can only have essentially one of these guys. Leave it. All right, hold on. Yeah, the imperial title of Peter the Great was the following: By the grace of God, back when they had religion, they don't have religion in Russia anymore. The most excellent and great sovereign emperor Pyotr Eleskevich, Pyotre, Peter, versus Pietro. That's actually Pietro, which is Italian for Peter. Alexeyevich, the ruler of Russia, the ruler of Russia's Russias, the rule of all the Russias brackets Moscow, of Kiev, of Vladimir, the city and administrative center of Vladimir Oblast, Russia, located in Klymiza, Russia. Kiev is capital of most populous city of Ukraine. Is northern Ukraine. As of January 1st, 2020, its population was 2,906,000, making Kiev the seventh most populous city in Europe. The seventh most populous city. of all the Russias. So this is saying that Kiev is a Russia of Moscow, of Kiev, of Vladimir, of Novgorod. Veliki Novgorod, also known as just Novgorod, is the largest city and administrative center of Novgorod Oblast, Russia. Tsar of Kazan. Kazan is the capital and largest city of the Republic of Tatarstan in Russia. The city lies at the confluence of the Volga and the Kazakhstan River. Yeah, so this is one of those cities that claims to be independent but does exactly what they're told, right? Have always done. So they get to self-govern as long as, you know, but it's always been that way. It's very weird. It's like what China wants Tibet to be, right? And Tsar of Siberia, sovereign of PSKOV. Pskov is the northwestern Russia and the administrative center of Pskor. Great Prince of Smolensk. Good Lord, this dude. Uh, Smolensk is a city and administrative center of Smolensk Oblast, Russia. Of Tver, Tver, is a city administrative center of Tver. Oh, what is Oblast? They just keep mentioning Oblast. We're gonna have to look that up. Mass is a town. Wow. And of Perm was an administrative unit of the Russian Empire and Soviet Union from 71 to 1923. It is also known as the government of Perm. It was located on both sides of the Ural Mountains. I wonder what they named it now. Huh, he's Lowlands, Russia, Belarus, Kandia, Ireland, George King's, Carbondon lands, the Circassian, and the mountains, just the mountains, and the mountains. The Greater Caucasus is a mountain range of the Caucasus Mountains. Prince in many other states and lands, western and eastern here and there, and the successor and sovereign and ruler. And sovereign and ruler? Uh yeah, he's laying claim to a lot. But this is not that time, my man. What is his story here? Died St. Petersburg, consort, I guess that's the wife. Russia, others. Hmm. Okay. Named after the apostle and described as a newborn as with good health, his mother's black, vaguely tattered eyes and a tuft of auburn hair. From an early age, Peter's education, commissioned by his father, Tsar Alexis of Russia. So he was a prince. Okay. Um, Slavic monarchs. It lends its name to a system of government, czarist autocrat, or the czarist autocracies, or czarism. The term is derived from the Latin word Caesar, which is intended to mean emperor. Yeah, everybody named themselves after a version of Caesar because Caesar was literally the man. I mean, good Lord, we're still talking about him 5,000 years later. 5,000 years later. Um, was it 5,000? Hold it, wait a minute. When did Caesar live? Maybe it was 3,000. When did Caesar live? Oh, really? Not that long ago. Just 100 years before. Really? There was that many emperors 100 years before Christ and the whole Pontius Pilate? Huh. All right. March 15th, 44 BC. That says he was 66. So he died 44 years before. All right. Just curious. All right. We don't really need to go into. He was a son of a prince, and of course, everybody likes a hero. But geez, you guys want to see a piece of video? I'll show. Oh my God. Uh, they shot down the helicopter. Have you guys seen this? Oh boy. Here's the thing. Old YouTube, you could just play a video. Now everything has a marker on it, so you don't really know who owns it. All right, so let me open this thing up. Peter the Great is his hero. Good Lord, that was 400 years ago. Outrageous. I mean, he's not doing much different than what these other guys are doing, right? Oh, really? No full screen. All right. Well, this is what happens when you give me a second. Let's. Why is this open? What is that? Um. Oh, good Lord, the same place. So wow. So again, this video is crazy. They removed the footage. Why did they remove the footage? Wait, did they edit this footage? They sure as hell did. They edited this footage. So they show it being hit, and then they edit the footage, and then they come back to it. No, that's what? This is the problem. In a free society, you better watch all these people editing stuff for you to make sure. Oh, let's close this to make sure that you're protected. I mean, the arrogance of that in a free society. It's it is what it is, baby. Oh, here we go. I mean, that is some shit. Look, the pilot. Let's freeze this. The pilot. Let's go all the way back to the first frame. Right? They don't fly high because they can be hit by, but these Stinger missiles, man, 100 feet off the ground and like 1,000 yards out. Look at this. All you see, I play video games. Like a shot like this, we'd all go, but oh my God. I mean, this is the last thing you see, you and your crew. Ah, I feel so bad. And I think that the Russians who are not going to give up are going to turn the screws on this thing. Wow. Yeah. Incredible. 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 They must have been about, I'd say 60 feet off the ground. Right into the side of a house. Yeah. Oh, good lord. So they're just above the trees. This is his shadow. Look at the glow, right? So the glow is pretty wide too, right? If you were drawing a circle around this, yeah. Yeah, all right. It's just incredible footage. I think the most terrifying to me is just how little time the pilot had to react to this situation. My God, saddens my heart to see that these people are actually deliberately and preventably losing their lives. But they had no choice. They had to go. It's incredible to behold. It's incredible to behold. But, still, rest in peace to the crew. Good Lord. Can anybody in this my country say safe Ukraine? God bless you. It doesn't matter. It's a Singaporean or other air defense. It's so long as it does go. Yeah. An amazing piece of footage. I mean, an amazing piece of footage. An amazing piece of footage. What do you do with this war? Right? It's going to be, you just got over the last one. They're going to be showing you this forever. People are going to talk crap. Maybe he is unhinged. Maybe this is the start of World War III, right? Are you sure you won't be invaded? I'm afraid, well, who's going to invade us? Like I keep saying, we're the third largest population, and there's nothing but guns all over this place. uh, they're ridiculous people who have flags on their walls and on their cars, on T-shirts, on shorts, on mugs, right? And it all means something different to everybody up until there's conflict and everybody's like raised on cowboy and Indian movies and excuse me, war movies and violent science fiction. Excuse me, right? So I think the populace is just after go after each other. They would have no problem going after some weird person who showed up here. You'd have to have brand new technology, but just guns and tanks ain't gonna help you. Excuse me. Like I said, really big population. Um, ceasefire in two southern Ukrainian cities fall apart. Oh, refugees fleeing Ukraine now represent the biggest movement of people in Europe since World War II. Yeah, you got to get away from the war, right? I mean, they were dropping these bombs and in this neighborhood, and people were running from it, and you saw two people just fall down, right? Because they would bounce up and then boom, like shrapnel stuff. So I was like, oh my god, what would you do? You get on the floor? Do you hide? Because they're falling everywhere. If you try and get behind, if you sit there and you run this way to get behind a car and take cover, the next one might land 3 feet from you, right? I mean, I don't know what you do. All these weird and uh, remember they were finding bombs all over Europe for the last 100 years, right? Because I mean, when I say they, I mean the Western powers just saturated Europe with munitions, um, war all over the place, all over the place, and rebuilt all of Europe. So Europe should. I mean, I don't think there are people who glorify it, but I think those people are like idiots and are Nazis and all this stuff. Excuse me. Well, I guess it don't matter as long as you do it right. The Netflix anime series is weird and beautiful. While this you as a businessman is staying in Kiev, there's all these kind of people, right? They'll catch him and blame. He'll represent America when when those anonymous Russian soldiers or death squads catch him, right? Because remember when this whole thing kicked off in Iraq, before they started murdering business people from the West, right? Bombing your car, shooting you as you walk to work, right? Kidnap you from your house and they find you murdered in the street. All this evil shit. Um, so when people get squishy on some of this shit, I go, you should remember these people. Like I saw one lady was like, America's blocking aid to Afghanistan, and da, 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 da. And my whole position was like, we were leaving, and they launched the bomb. So fuck them. Eat the sand. I don't care. Right? That last bomb didn't need to happen. That last bomb showed absolute and actual hatred on people who are leaving. So if we're dealing in absolute hatred, why do I care if you can feed yourself? You see what I'm saying? Now you want sympathy from the West, even as you still won't let ladies do anything or people have a difference of opinion. And God forbid you be Jewish in Afghanistan or Syria or Iraq or Iran, right? So that whole region needs to fix its shit. Um, they still deal in slavery. I mean, the whole region is a mess. But it took a world war for Europe to sort of get its head together about these 1,000-year-old tribal kind of like energies. Like I forgot who tweeted it, but like he was like, "It's funny how all of European countries' names translate to land of this people, right? France translates to that, England translates to right." So I was like, I guess that's interesting. But when it all started, there were tribes of like everybody in your country. It might have been excuse me, might have been 800,000, half a million, right? A big population might have been a million, and you were the king of this or the lord of that, and you had to govern the whole place, and everybody got around on wagons with horses, and it was like that forever. And you inherited the country from your dad, and there was nothing else to do but go to war, right? So we will see what happens. All right, what time is it? I think we've been streaming for about 35 minutes. Oh, yeah, about 40 minutes. 45 minutes. I don't have any news. I have been following this this Ukraine thing more so than I thought I would. But yeah, I'm so exhausted with all of it. The State Department tells Americans to leave Russia immediately. I don't understand this. If we have these troubles with Russia, why we allow like them and the Chinese to immigrate here? Don't you think there'd be some spies in that mix? Right? I mean, this society is making less and less sense to me as I age. Yeah. That's a good sign, right? That is a good sign. That means late warm outdoor activity, which is what we all want, right? Oh man, I gotta close these windows. So yeah, it's been pretty decent. I'm gonna switch that around. It's been pretty decent. What time is sunset? And there won't be baseball, so it's gonna be hard for me to gauge when. Uh, cause golf, they're still playing golf now. Yep, tomorrow 10 a.m. We will be here Sunday service. I was about to say Sunday servicing, but that doesn't sound right. Yeah, try our way of trying to make sure that we are spiritually connected by getting up at a regular hour on a Sunday and at least being awake in what would normally have been church time and being positive and being communal, which is what well I as a Christian I was raised as a Christian. That was part of the whole thing, right? Uh, community. Um, so yeah, absolutely. Now, you don't have to be any of those things. You could just come by and talk to us and talk about politics like we're going to do and have coffee with us. No strings attached, but just know that we're here and we're just kicking it. Um, I just drop everything and leave the country you're in right now. Why are you over there in the first place? I don't understand this. Some of this is just asking for trouble. People do goofy stuff like, you know, maybe if you didn't have this kind of like weird war footing, but you can go take vacations over there and do business over there, but we're really not friends, but you could maybe that's why this is all going on, right? If you would have just kept you stay on your side and we'll stay over here, ideology, maybe they would have just petered out. Um, or would have been forced to change to something else. A&E stars A&E and the A&E stars sister. Okay. After Florida plane crash, search suspended for a couple missing at sea. I hate those two-seater planes, boy. I don't care what anybody says. Oh, it's so sad. A lot of miserable stuff going on. A lot of miserable stuff going on in the world. I saw something where they did we cover yesterday where they killed a Russian general who was it reminded me of when they killed that Iranian general who was in Iraq. Like mistake number one is like this is a war zone. You're not in your country, and you're on our hit list. Why are you here? You should have just got on a plane and went to DC and got arrested. You know what I mean? It's like if George Bush plane lands in Tehran right now to go visit, they're gonna arrest him because they view him as a war criminal. But again, you can't like they're not regular guys. Even if their plane did land in Tehran or wherever, there's huge consequences for not filling his plane up and getting him the fuck out of here. I wish George Bush's plane would land in North Korea. The North Koreans would just go, "Okay, we helped a Yankee American dog back to his country. Aren't we great?" Right? They wouldn't do anything. This is why I'm hearing they're talking about Donald Trump must sit for. I still don't think it's gonna happen. Donald Trump. All right. Pence hit Trump. No, 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 Trump praised it. Let's get the news. Uh, how the Manhattan DA's investigation into Donald Trump unraveled. How the Manhattan DA's investigation into Donald Trump unraveled. Okay. So what is the wait? Hold on. Who's the Manhattan DA? The last Manhattan DA. The state attorney general is Letitia James. She used to be the Manhattan DA, who I want to say brought these charges. Can we click on this and see what let's see if I'm anywhere near right. Um, on a late January afternoon, collapse this. On a late January afternoon, March 5th, 2022, that's today. On a late January afternoon, two senior prosecutors stood before the new Manhattan district attorney, hoping to persuade him to criminally charge the former president of the United States. Prosecutor Mark F. Pomerantz and Carrie R. Dunn. Why do I know that name? Who? What? Hold on, wait a minute. Prosecutor leading Trump fraud investigation in New York resigns. Trump organization is charged with running a 15-year employee tax scheme. When is this? July 30th, 2021. Yeah, this whole thing looks like it's falling apart. I'm not even gonna read it. Uh yeah, it looks like it's falling apart. And like I said, you're not gonna put a former American president in prison. I don't care what you think. Um, and these judges, I don't know what they're thinking. I think everything they say will be overturned down the line. But again, the people in charge don't want Trump around, right? But they're not going to put him in prison. They're trying to find a way to kneecap him. And I think at this point, you might want to go put him on Twitter, let him talk. The more he talks, the worse it gets because he's been having a streak of like uh stupid things, let's say. But if you put him on Twitter, he might catch fire again, and then it's your butt. Yeah, old girlfriend. What do you mean, old girlfriend? Key to white survival has Putin. Key to white survival. Quote, key to white survival, end quote. How Putin has morphed into a far right savior. Putin, quote unquote, waiting for Trump to withdraw from NATO in second term. This is a day ago. This is a day ago. Why does that say a day ago? March 4th, 2022. This is yesterday. Oh, this is Bolton's opinion. All right, see, there's your problem. Former National Security Advisor John Bolton says Putin was waiting for Trump to withdraw the United States from NATO in his second. Why was he waiting for that? Former National Security Bolton was put in wait for Trump. Okay, previously warned that Trump would have withdrawn from the alliance if he'd won a second term. Bolton also said Trump's main interest in Ukraine was trying to find Hillary Clinton's computer server. Here's the thing. Oh my God. Here's the thing. Trump was right about NATO, right? You don't pay your fair share. The place is defendable. Germany's all in bed with the Russians. All you people are fucking compromised. We give you stuff, you give it to the Chinese. What the hell is going on here, right? Um, they tightened up a lot of that. They tightened up a lot of what Trump had problems with, and they were right. Uh, not all of it, but look at the position Russia is in now, and look at NATO. NATO doesn't really know what to do. Sanctions. What if you can live without sanctions, but nobody's trading the ruble? Which I'm telling you, man, the way they clamp down on this thing, we said a couple of days ago. I am super impressed because I did not see it coming. Did not see it coming. The evidence inside Donald Trump's new social media platform, Politico. See, these are all liberal papers telling you how Trump sucks. Donald Trump can't stop whining about his failing social media app, Daily Beast. The New York Post. Trump hasn't posted on Truth Social in weeks as waitlist swells. See, this is at least a story, but it's from the New York Post. You're not getting nobody's getting the real meat of what's going on anymore. Barr, all these guys. Do you remember? In the olden days, I think it was a thing that if you worked with the president, you were always one of the president's men, and you always defend him even after he was long gone. You go, well, back in those days, even if 30 years later, you're talking about how good working for Ronald Reagan was, and you were his X or his Y or his Z, or how it was 50 years ago and you worked for uh, Roosevelt or whoever, Kennedy, Reagan, Carter, whoever. Now it just looks like they're not even 2 years out, and they're all these former Bush, or these former Trump cabinet members are just kind of like happy to cut his throat. But I think he's just not a good judge of character. uh, that's one thing I would vote against him for president for. His judge of character is just trash. Pence hit Trump, no room in the GOP for apologists for Putin. Oh look, now we get yeah, see, um yeah, we'll see what happens. I also like the fact that all the COVID stuff is clearing up, which in my mind means, no COVID for election. Wow. This is gonna get ridiculous. Roger Stone recorded fleeing DC. January 6th. I really want to get out of here. I really want to get out of here. See, you can't wait to kick some wildness off, and then when it takes off, the first thing you do is run to safety, right? I mean, they are. I mean, Roger Stone and that whole thing. PayPal suspends service in Russia over the war in the Ukraine. So all these Russians who got nothing to do with Iran, are nothing but problems, right? Because they're allowed to participate in, like, I mean, we're a little more intertwined than I think we should be, but what if you're just a random dude who does, I don't know, house painting, and they pay you by PayPal? Now you're just stuck. I wouldn't doubt it, but China has a COVID problem that's not mentioning. Hong Kong reported what? I'm sorry. I was about to say 3,700. Hong Kong reported 37,529 new COVID cases and 150 deaths. That's not even 1% deaths, which is good. But man, Hong Kong bet on zero COVID now is facing, what is this? Is facing a preventable disaster. What just happened here? Oh, look at this. Oh my God. January, February 23rd. Hold it. What? February 17th. Okay. What? Hold on. Oh my God. So January, my hand is moving. February 5th, 2022, new cases, 351, 7-day average 149. Let's check a little closer. February 11th, 1,600 cases, uh, 7-day average. So from February 10th to February 12th, they doubled the cases to 11th. February 20th, 6,000. February 26th, 44,000. Oh my God. February 28th, 34,000. Look at this climb. Wow, the covers are bare. Well, it is China. What went wrong in China? The American government. Look at this. Yeah, everybody's in a warehouse. No one's on the street. Look at this. It's like zombies. It's like a post-apocalyptic baby with COVID, separate from family and quarantined alone in Hong Kong. So nobody's with you. You're in there by yourself. Oh my God, the Chinese, man. Oh my God, that society. Oh, oh my God. Who puts a baby alone in a room by themselves? Oh, for sweet Jesus. Sorry. Uh, wow, that is a lot. This is the thing, right? People are going to tell you because they want to win and they want to look like they're winning, but nobody knows what to do about COVID. And I think they're going to open up the, less masks and you can go do stuff, and them numbers are going to go through the roof. Just what I think is going to happen. But I'm look. I don't know, man. It's they're plagues. They hang around for a while. 2 years is nothing. I'm slowly losing my mind, though. I will admit it. Uh, ah, all right. Um, do we want to check more news? CNN, BBC, and others suspend broadcasting from Russia after Putin signs law limiting freedom of the press. Yeah, there you go. He's been a dictator for 20 years, and you've acted like he wasn't, right? Just like you tried to rehabilitate that North Korean guy, and that came and bit you in the butt. So look, why don't we start treating our enemies like our enemies and not allow them to have access to Western commerce and Western banks? And I mean, they shot down an airplane like 10 years ago, didn't they? So I don't know what the. I think people come in. excuse me, I think people come into the country, these oligarchs, and they essentially fund stuff and get to know people, and before you know, they're golfing with people, and they have a house next to you, and then they're like, "Hey, how about this?" And you know, before you know it, you're financially dependent on them or in bed with them, and that's not good. That is not good. Stolichnaya vodka is changing its name to Stoli, and they say over Russia, but everybody calls it Stoli. Well, actually, all the hip people in the black community called it Stoli. Now everybody calls it Stoli. It's like we call McDonald's Mickey D's. Now everybody calls it Mickey D's. Even McDonald's calls themselves Mickey D's, which is nice, right? Uh, the influence of a small group of people. I don't think you can get on a plane and go to Russia and fight and come back, even if you come back uninjured. I think the government is going to have issues with it. I think there's a law against it. Really do think. I mean, don't hold me to it, but I really do think there's a law against it. Wow, the idea that he's going to try and knit together something so completely undone and no one's going to do anything about it, I find amazing. A lot of sports news. What is this? This is what happens when the space junk hits the moon. It's a giant body. What could possibly happen? I'm assuming it just falls out of the moon's version of the sky. It's still the sky. The moon's sky and slams into the moon's, is it Earth? Would you call that? The moon's surface. How about that? This is the bullshit I'm talking about. NPR, few women of color are pilots. United Airlines flight school is changing that. Okay. Why? I mean, okay. But how many? Five women? Well, excuse me. I mean, the numbers that you offer up aren't serious to any group to change the numbers. Good Times actor Johnny Brown dies at 84. He was Bookman. Remember him? Bookman? Buffalo Butt? 84. Is 84 old or young now? I don't even know. Meet the new queer vanguard of country music. They use the word queer in the title. Can you use that? Not bad. Okay. In reference to what? Activision Blizzard and Epic Games halt sales of games in Europe. So the game, oh, 84 is not bad. Yeah, no, I don't think the 84 is bad. Uh, what's the average life expectancy? 84. See moment make curse award. Stop reporting and help. Help do what? You know, war zone. I mean, you might want to keep your helmet on and get the hell out of there. She helped with a camera on her. I mean, people are dying over there. It's not awesome. It is not awesome. It is not awesome. And a lot of it is sanitized, so you can go to some sites and see some grisly stuff going on in all war zones, but that's just the newest, latest one. It's fairly grisly stuff. Huh. What did his doctor say? You're fine. You'll live a long and happy life. I mean, it's so. I mean, when it comes for you, it comes for you, right? Sometimes you get to say goodbye to the family, and the doctor say he doesn't have long, and you get to say I love you, and then right down in your bed, kind of stuff. But sometimes it's just kind of like a massive heart attack. So yeah, maybe it's just look, something on you will give, right? So view yourself as a car. uh, so as you get older, maybe your eyes will go, and your ears will go, right? Your sense of smell is not what it used to, but those things don't kill you. Like if your liver goes, it's a long, slow slide, but your heart goes, it's almost immediate, right? If your brain goes like a brain aneurysm and your brain dead, your body lives on. So there's all these kind of weird things. But we all go. um, some sadly sooner rather than later. But yeah, 80, maybe, it's so sad. I mean, it's not sad. It's expected at these ages, right? But I feel I'm still talking about it. I guess I feel a way about it because he was one of those people that I grew up watching as a kid, and all be I said this on this pod before. Like you get to a point in your life where your heroes begin to pass away, and you're like, wow, that guy. Oh, I loved him, right? Um, what is an example of that? Who did I like who passed away? Well, there's several of these, right? Sometimes there are people who are in your peer group who are famous. You go, oh my God, like in the '50s, it was James Dean. A lot of people were affected by that. In the '80s, a lot of people were affected by like River Phoenix dying, right? In my community, a lot of people were affected by Biggie Smalls dying, Tupac dying, right? Some people were affected by, well, not young people affected by Elvis dying. Elvis died in his 40s, but like these are young people. Um, all the Disney kids were affected when that young Disney boy passed away from a rare ailment. So yeah, it is what it is, man. We all grieve, and you're like, wow, I can't believe so and so passed away. I remember that song, and I remember this. I was dancing here, and oh, those were the days. And oh, hey, so and so also passed away. Oh man, really? Then you look up and you go, huh, that was 35 years ago. Oh, yeah. Climate change and COVID loom over Alaska's 50th annual Iditarod sled dog race. Here's the thing: some of this compacted snow have been compacted for like 10,000 years. It's all beginning to melt. Um, you can fall into it. Uh, right? The permafrost is like swamp. But you keep it frozen, you can build and live on it. But once it all begins to melt, nothing's going to be out there. Uh, COVID and yeah. What happened if you just let everybody get COVID? Right, you're going to have a natural immunity group, right? You're going to have a group who takes it really, really badly. Uh, but I wonder, that's what they're calling herd immunity. I don't know. I wonder where it's going. I wonder what is going on with it. I wonder, like, if I wear a mask and you wear a mask, and some people are and some people aren't. I wonder how long it stays in like the environment versus if no one wore one, if everybody wore one. You know what I mean? Uh, I don't know, but then again, we don't talk COVID, do we? No, we don't. We don't talk COVID. Uh, because I have a lot of questions and no one can answer them. The Adam Project. Oh wow, really? Okay, so maybe I'll watch that. That's on Netflix. The best sci-fi series on Netflix. That's weird. Taskmaster launches Netflix-style global streaming service. Taskmaster has launched its own worldwide streaming service, bringing together episodes of the British comedy show alongside international versions. Okay, I Am Legend, and you're making a sequel with Will Smith and Michael B. Jordan. Okay, I mean, I don't think you need a sequel, but all right. Million Dollar Listing star Josh Flagg and husband Bobby Boyd divorcing after 5 years. No, not even the gays are saying married. No one commits to anything anymore. They're really. I'm sorry, I'm caught up on like what's supposed to watch on Netflix. I'm just not watching anything. I think the last thing I did watch on Netflix was that Vox Machina thing, and I was not impressed with it. I actually was I was watching this doesn't count. Half Baked. I must have seen Half Baked. I own a DVD of it right here somewhere, but it's on Amazon, and I'm I I've seen that show. I've seen that movie easily 100 times if I've seen it 10. Uh, easily 100 times. Sad but true. I don't know what you're doing. I mean, he's essentially threatening you to take action against them, and all you can do is do. Putin says Western sanctions are akin to a declaration of war. Nearly 1 million have fled, and more than 40 million have stayed. Well, obviously, everybody can't leave. Ugh. The Russian Grand Strategy Guideline. Yeah, he wants us to do this for him. They don't have a big army, and Russia, I mean, we laugh at some of them, but they are an army. It's London. President Vladimir Putin said on Saturday that when was this written? March 5th, 2022, 11:26 a.m. Putin says Western sanctions are akin to a declaration of war by Reuters staff. Okay. I wonder if we can find it here. Come on, guys. Do I have to type in Putin? Close enough. All right, this is what I was reading. All right. Putin says military operations going as planned. Putin warns West on no-fly zone in the Ukraine. No need for martial law, Putin says. Kremlin says West is acting like bandits. They're a kleptocracy. They really are. March 5th, 11:26 a.m. Last updated 6 hours ago. London, March 5th. Reuters. President Vladimir Putin said on Saturday that Western sanctions on Russia were akin to a declaration of war and warned that any attempt to impose a no-fly zone in Ukraine will lead to catastrophic consequences for the world. What the fuck does that mean? What does that mean? Are you threatening me? What does that mean? If the world buys that, he can do anything he wants, and anybody can do anything they want by saying the same thing. Oh, there'll be dire consequences. All right, go ahead, just go do it. Putin reiterated that his aims were to defend Russian-speaking communities through the demilitarization and denazification of the country, so that Russia's former Soviet neighbors became neutral and no longer threatened Russia. Ukraine and Western countries have dismissed this as a baseless pretext for the invasion he launched on February 24th and have imposed a sweeping range of sanctions aimed at isolating Moscow. I think they're fucking pretty isolated. These sanctions that are being imposed are akin to a declaration of war, but thank God it's not coming to that. Oh, okay. See what they did? They didn't give us the whole quote, you pieces of shit. Now I can't trust your journalist. This is why nobody wanted a byline on it. Reuters. That's why there's no byline, because this right here is a credibility issue. Who does this? The sanctions being imposed are akin to a declaration of war, but thank God it has not come to that. Let's go back up. Putin says Western sanctions are akin to a declaration of war. Yeah, the energy of that statement. All right, Putin said, speaking to a group of flight attendants. He said this while speaking to a group of flight attendants at an Aeroflot training center near Moscow. He said any attempt by another power to impose a no-fly zone in Ukraine will be considered by Russia to be a step into the military conflict. Such a step, he said, will be catastrophic consequences for Europe and the world. No, I think it would just be catastrophic consequences for you, Vlad. The NATO military alliance has rejected Kiev's request for a no-fly zone on the grounds it will escalate the war between the Ukraine into a far wider conflict, potentially pitting the United States against Russia. Going to plan. Going to plan. Okay. Asked about reports that Russia's conscripts have been used in Ukraine, Putin said that none have been involved and said the military operation was going to plan. So he's saying nobody was conscripted into the military for this. And yeah, we expected this to go as it is, and it's gone as we'd expected it to. What? What? Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. There's not one conscript, and we don't plan that for there to be. Putin said our army will fulfill all the tasks. I don't doubt that at all. Everything's going to plan. There's not one conscript. We don't plan there to be any. Putin said our army will fulfill all the tasks. With conscripts. Okay, I don't. Okay, the description was at odds with the assessment from U.S. and British officials. British military intelligence said on Thursday that Russia advanced on the Ukraine capital had made little progress and encountered staunch resistance. Putin dismissed concerns that some sort of martial law or emergency situation could be declared in Russia. He said such a measure was martial law in Russia. Okay. Putin dismissed concerns that some sort of martial law or emergency situation could be declared in Russia. He said such a measure was imposed only when there was significant internal or external threat. Instead of saying no, that would never happen. He's like, yeah, that could happen if we lost control or foreign people did something, right? So at least oh my god, we just say we keep all options on the table. We don't plan to introduce any kind of special regime on Russian territory. There is currently no need, Putin said. There is currently no need. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said that the West was behaving like a bandit by cutting economic relations over the conflict in the Ukraine, but that Russia was far too big to be isolated, as the world was much larger than just the United States and Europe. He's not wrong. All right. Yeah, that's not wrong. I would like to argue that, but who choose? Look, listen. The country with the biggest economic impact and economic power is America, and China makes shit that America likes. Once America stopped buying that shit from China, China doesn't make a lot of stuff that. Uh, do I want to say that they make China stuff is trash? They make a lot of stuff for the West. Um, there's a couple of good companies, right? But they're entertainment like audio electronics. What Chinese car company do you know? You know what I mean? We have a bigger. We sell you everything. They may have cameras and what? Yeah, they don't have a large market of anything. If the clothes we can have someone else make these clothes, right? um, I don't know. It's weird. All right, what time is it? Woo, it's 8 o'clock. That's the show. Uh, we'll see you guys tomorrow at 10 a.m. I hope you enjoyed the show, and I hope you come back tomorrow for the Sunday session. And if not for the Sunday session, please come back for Monday, which is the 6:30 show. We'll see you there. We'll see you there. Um, everyone have a good night. Remember, your weekend is not completely over yet. So go get some of it. Let's close this stream. What am I doing over here? All right. Let's do that. All right, and let's do this. All right. Again, I want to thank everybody for coming through. I will see you in the next one. The next one's tomorrow, 10 a.m. for the Sunday session. Who knows? Maybe I'll order something and we can have pancakes on stream. Oh, that's not a bad idea. Maybe we should have pancakes on stream. Always thinking. All right, I will get with you guys in the next one. Take care of yourself. Peace.